few quick shots from yesterday's mindset sharpening workout. I surely was working on the leg strength. You know, I'm sure it helped the red blood cell recruitment, a little bit of VO2 max work, but at the end of the day, it was all upstairs. That's why we ran up Pikes Peak yesterday, which is where we are getting today's comment of the day from Amber. Thank you, Amber. Why? Because she told a story. Epic mountain views. Thank you, Seth. Absolutely beautiful and beautifully put together. Last run that scared me was definitely my 50-mile race, since it was my first time going that distance. Before that, there was a day where we had storms coming in, and the tornado siren went off when I was still about 3/4 of a mile from home. It stopped quickly, but in the last quarter mile or so, there was some pretty intense lightning directly overhead, so I got myself inside in a hurry. Amber, you get the comment of the day. Why? Because she told a story. The tornado sirens, the lightning overhead. She drew me in. I wanted to read to the end of the comment, and I bring that comment up as the comment of the day because, don't forget, we humans are story-driven, and we must remain vigilant of the stories we are telling ourselves. Before a hard workout, before a hard race, before a hard gym session, before going to bed. Why? Because we got to recover as runners. We put our bodies through quite a bit. If we're not, in the example of the bed, going to sleep, if we're not calming the mind before going to bed, that could impact our sleep, which therefore impacts our recovery, which therefore impacts the next day's run. So we're story driven, and that's where I want to start with respect to sharpening the mindset. We are a species, if I can use that term. We are a collection of people that react well or maybe not so well to whatever story we are listening to. And as we are telling ourselves stories, we must remember that, and this, I do this too sometimes, as I'm out there running, and you're probably out there running for hours and hours every week, every month, hours. I love audiobooks. But if we stop at the audiobooks, if we stop just at the sharpening of the mind, which is good, and don't take action, meaning Atomic Habits, very famous book in the last 5-6 years. Many people have listened to it. It's a good book. I don't know if it's a great book, but it's a good book. And it just helps you understand the power of tiny, small, the little way, small actions we can take to change our lives. All right? And I listened to it a couple times. It's a good book. But if we stop there at just listening, analysis paralysis, is that the way the old adage? If we just stop at analyzing, how can I make myself better without taking the proper actions? And actually, I just remembered, this is amazing. This is wild. This is just wild. This is my first weighted vest, and I will say, yesterday I met my match. But if I would have stopped at 10 pounds, this is it. I just found this in the studio like a minute ago, and I totally forgot about it. It was hanging right up here on a elk antler right there on the wall. And if I would have stopped there, who knows? Maybe I would have not have been strong enough to win the Pikes Peak Marathon in 2020 and 2021. Maybe I would have not have been able to progress to the point now where I will say yesterday I did meet my man, and I mentioned this in the yesterday's vlog, but you can't just stop at listening to an audiobook, listening to a YouTube video. We got to take action, okay? So that's where it's that mindset shift of listen, but then implement. Listen, but then implement. Whatever you want to work on. It could be anything in the world. It could be, making a better choice between KFC or going to Mad Greens. Is that a restaurant? I think Mad Greens sells healthier food than KFC probably. It's like these little actions that we can take to improve our lives, our well-being, our overall health. And last but not least, I could go on and on this, but in the mindset department, we are not going to make the perfect decision. It doesn't exist. But what you do have to do, what I have done, is make the first decision. Because once you make the first decision, you then are almost like I don't know if this is the best analogy, but you're almost like a pinball machine. The ball is bouncing to where you want it to go, just like our decisions. You're pivoting and pivoting and pivoting and pivoting. But if we freeze, if we're paralyzed after that first decision, or sorry, if we're paralyzed before the first decision, we're never going to get better. We're never going to chase down that next PR, that next, age division victory, or that next better test at the doctor's office where we've lowered our cholesterol levels, or whatever you are working on in your life. It's the first decision. You got to go. You don't be paralyzed by perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. It doesn't exist in this world, but we got to go. We got to go. And we got to go. And then you pivot, and I have found, and you probably found this out as well, over time, your pivots become less dramatic because you're honing in, and you're learning, you're teaching yourself, oh, this works, and that didn't quite work. It's like, whereas maybe when you were, 18 years old, your pivots are much, much bigger in all facets of life, okay? Oh my goodness. Question of the day. I already did this, the comment of the day. Question of the day. How do you sharpen your mindset? As a runner specifically, if you want to broaden it out more so to life in general, that's okay. But sharpening your mindset, okay? And those are just a few little insights that I was working on yesterday as I traversed up and down that very large mountain with, I'm going to call, this is beautiful. I had too much weight on my back. I did. I learned it was too much. By the end of the run, it wasn't my legs. My legs were great, which might pay off for the Pikes Peak ascent in about 2 months, but it was actually my shoulders. My shoulders were in so much pain, it impacted everything else to the point where I almost could not run. So that's a small little pivot. I will not carry, if you watched yesterday's vlog, I will not carry so many cameras up the mountain the next time I run with the vest. Okay? So it's like, perfection, nah, throw it out the window. Doesn't exist. All right. I could go on. I'll stop. We'll toss it to another mental sharpening vlog right there. If you like this topic of improving ourselves as runners, right there. All right, say beauty, work hard, and love each other. See you tomorrow.